It's week 3 of the 2025 NFL season, and there's still fantasy football drafts happening. Might be wondering why. Well, DraftKings has this at $20,000, the first place. I think second has like $8,000 and so on. So this is a draft that I did for week 3 onward. And I think it's instructive to kind of see how these players are being viewed. You can use this as a barometer for trades and whatnot, or fab waiver wire pickups. I know waiver wire is passed already, but still, I think there is some value here to be learned. So before I get into it, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit walterfootball.com for tons of content. We have NFL picks against the spread, college football picks against the spread. We went 5-0 in week 2 in college football. We have 2026 and 2027 NFL mock drafts, fantasy football rankings, NFL power rankings. We grade every signing, we grade every trade, and it's all free at walterfootball.com. All right, so I had the third pick here. I thought, I was like, okay, I really wanted to pick 2 because Bijan Robinson and Saquon Barkley are the 2 obvious picks. I was like, all right, man, what am I going to do at number 3? Well, I didn't have to decide because the second guy took Jamar Chase, which, would have been fine beforehand, before week 2, but Joe Burrow is out for 3 months, so Chase is taking a hit. I still would take Chase in the first round, but not at 102, maybe like 106, 107 or something. I think if Robinson and Barkley were off the board, I probably would have gone with either Jahmyr Gibbs or Jonathan Taylor. Taylor's looking great right now. The offensive line is much better than I thought. And then Gibbs is so explosive. I think both have legit argument to be the third player in this draft. McCaffrey, some people will wonder about him, but I don't trust him to stay healthy. There's also CeeDee Lamb, which is fine. But anyway, I'd rather go running back in the first round. So after that, I went Drake London at 210. I really wanted those quarterbacks, either Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. But I guess I got sniped, you could say. I'd prefer Lamar Jackson. His playoff schedule is very easy. Now, Josh Allen's going to produce no matter what, and he's probably better in tougher matchups, because in easy matchups he probably won't have to throw a lot in the second half, whereas in tougher matchups he might have to just go all out in the second half. But I prefer quarterbacks here in the second round in these week X onward drafts, because the quarterbacks that we liked in rounds 9 through 11 before the season started, like Drake May, for example, they were going for the most part, they're going earlier than round 9, so you're not getting the same value as you were before. So I think it's pretty good to take a quarterback in round 2. Only Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. The other guys you could take in rounds 3 or 4. And at 303, it took Kyren Williams. I should have maybe drafted Breece Hall. Kind of regret that. Kyren Williams is still a stud, but the Jets' playoff schedule is incredibly easy. I wanted to read off the Jets playoff schedule this year, which is it's absurd. You're actually going to want to trade for Jets players because in week 15, which is the first round of the playoffs in most leagues, they play the Jaguars. In week 16, they play the Saints. And week 17, they play the Patriots. So try to get Jets players no matter what. I in a vacuum, I would think I have Kyren over Breece Hall, but Breece Hall's playoff schedule is so appealing. At 410, speaking of Jets players, to Garrett Wilson, who's falling a little bit because Justin Fields suffered a concussion, but Fields is only going to be out 1 week at most. He might even play this week, so I'm not concerned. 503, I got Cortland Sutton. So a little bit down on Sutton here, but by the public, because he only caught 1 pass, but he drew a bunch of interference flags. He should be able to bounce back. I like this value with him. At 610, Keenan Allen, it's kind of come out of nowhere and become Justin Herbert's favorite target again. So, just I don't want to overreact to stuff, but this Keenan Allen stuff seems legit, and Justin Herbert looks like a great option too, although he's going at 502. Devontae Smith at 703. Talk about overreactions. The Eagles' passing offense does not look great for the most part, but Devontae Smith is just way too talented to go in the 7th round. Plus, A.J. Brown is not looking like he's healthy, so Smith might be the healthiest receiver on the team. Even though he got banged up in the Kansas City game, still Brown is just not getting open. open. At 8-10, I took Zap Charbonnet. This is where I was taking him right before the season started. And even it's kind of crazy that he hasn't moved up, even though he is splitting carries evenly with Kenneth Walker. He actually had more carries than Walker in both games so far. So 8-10 for Charbonnet is a steal. Now, I said before that Drake May was going earlier than round 9. In a draft I did before this, he went at like 801. So it's kind of far cry from the 10th round, 11th round, but still 903 seems pretty reasonable for Drake May, who also has a very easy schedule. The Patriots had the second easiest schedule in the NFL this year, so Drake May is going to have a bunch of great matchups. At 10-10, I took Bo Nix, so I wanted to get a second quarterback here. Bo Nix is coming off 2 rough games, but remember, Sean Payton is a slow starter. Payton is 3-20-1 against the spread. That's 3 wins, 20 losses in one push against the spread in weeks 1 and 2 since he came back from Bountygate. I don't know why he struggles so early, but he does. And I think that Bo Nix should be able to play better as Sean Payton's coaching becomes better. Talk about values here. 1103, TJ Hawkinson. I know he had 2 bad games, but, tight ends have bad games all the time. And the Vikings are going to a new quarterback. Carson Wentz might actually be an upgrade over McCarthy, and McCarthy's been terrible, so it's probably not going to take much for that to happen. At 12-10, Brian Robinson Jr., I was taking Guerrero all the time in the 12th round. Now I'm taking Robinson because I don't trust McCaffrey to stay healthy. At 1303, Braylon Allen. So I didn't get Breece Hall, but I got Braylon Allen, who is not splitting 50-50 as reported in the offseason. But if Hall goes down or is traded, because remember, it's his contract year, then Braylon Allen is going to look fantastic with that playoff schedule. 14-10, Isaiah Likely. He's coming back soon. He might even be back this week. So his upside is through the roof. So I like pairing him with Hawkinson, who usually should be safer, especially if the Vikings get an upgraded quarterback, whereas Likely has more variance and he could just have great weeks. 1503 took De'Ami Brown, who is he's become a big factor in Jacksonville's offense, and Brian Thomas Jr. is injured. So Brown should be able to have a couple of good games here, I think. 16-10, we have Blake Corum, who it wasn't Jarquez Hunter, it was Corum who ended up being the handcuff to Kyron Williams. 1703, Alec Pierce just has a lot of upside on a weekly basis. He has major spike week potential, which is what you want in these drafts, especially in like the 17th round. 1810, my boy Tyler Higbee, I drafted him a bunch, and he showed signs of life last week. He didn't do anything week 1, but he finally got back on track in week 2. 1903, you might be wondering why Will Shipley's here, because the Eagles traded for Tank Bigsby. Well, reports have surfaced that the Eagles like Bigsby for his return ability, whereas Shipley is still going to be the RB2 when he is healthy. So I was drafting Shipley like 16th round in the summer. 19th round now seems like a really good value. And then 20th round, I just wanted a third quarterback. Dylan Gabriel seemed like the best option because he can run around, and he's going to start eventually. So when I need Gabriel, like later in the year, when either May or Nix gets hurt, or in the bye weeks, like week 12, week 14, Dylan Gabriel might be able to fill in and kind of produce. I have been drafting Carson Wentz too. I think there is a chance that Wentz eventually might take over for JJ McCarthy, and Wentz can run around a lot, so there's definitely fantasy upside with him. As far as some other picks, nothing really stood out in the first round. It's kind of like it looked a little bit like what we had before the summer, but Justin Jefferson's going lower because the Vikings have had issues at quarterback. But I've been drafting Jefferson late in the first round in some of the drafts I've done, so I think there's good value with him. James Cook is elevated to round 2. I don't think this is an overreaction. Now, still concerned about Cook's health because he missed training camp, so he could go down, but he's looked phenomenal thus far. So I think this elevation is pretty justified. Genty falling to 311. The Raiders can't block. Now, he's going to have some good games against bad defenses, but Genty is dead last right now in yards before contact. He is getting blown up in the backfield like all the time. It's pretty rare where he gets a good run. Like he gets the ball and he's just hit by a guy. Like he has no chance. You have to feel bad for him. Like he just can't do anything. So given that the Raiders can't block, I can see why he's falling to round 3. I passed on him 3 times, and I have no regrets there. Javonte Williams rising to the 4th round. A little too much for me. I think round 6 is fine. I don't trust this to keep going. He's looked good so far. I wouldn't mind him like in the 5th round, but I think that's still a touch too early. Round 4 seems like way too early for Javonte Williams. Strategy here in the 5th round, I did not like. This guy took, for some reason, Jordan Love in round 3. I don't know why. Maybe he's just a big fat Packer fan. But then he took Mahomes in round 5. If you're going to take a quarterback in round 3, don't take one in round 5, no matter what. I mean, unless you get like an insane value, like if you got, for example, if you look like Josh Allen here or Lamar Jackson is 2 or 3, and then like round 5, Jalen Hurts falls there. Like, okay, I could see that because it's great value. You're not getting great value here. In fact, you're just locking in the fact that one of your top 5 picks is not going to be in your lineup. So that's just a big mistake. Don't do something like that unless it's a very rare occasion in which you're getting great value. Travion Henderson falls around 6. He barely played week 2, which is a big disappointment. He's better than Ramondre Stevenson. I think he got benched because he committed 3 holding penalties in pass protection, which is supposed to be his calling card. So it's kind of surprising that he struggles so much in that regard. Just disappointing, but I think the talent will win out, and I think that he will eventually be the starter over Stevenson, who's just really not that good. Keon Coleman's rising to the 6th round. I know he had a dud in week 2, but the Bills didn't have to pass that much. Coleman was awesome in week 1, so I think 6th round's a little too early. I think maybe 7th or 8th. Like I still would take Devontae Smith over him, but it's definitely closer than people would expect it. So, and then Wan'Dale Robinson. This is an overreaction. Round 8 for Wan'Dale Robinson. It's like a glorified slot guy. That is, don't overreact to what you see on a weekly basis. It was just a rare occasion in which Russell Wilson threw for 450 yards. So that's never going to happen again for the rest of Wilson's career. He's not going to throw for that many yards. And so Wan'Dale Robinson's not going to have the sort of game that he did. A couple of rookies here, Cam Scatterbo, Bayshaw Tootin have looked great. RJ Harvey falls to round 9. I actually think that's a good value because J.K. Dobbins is going to get hurt at some point. We know that he's the most injury-prone running back in the NFL, except for McCaffrey. So I like that value for sure. And yeah, I think that's about it. This is the picks that stood out as moving up and down. So let me know what you think about my team. Were there any other weird picks that stood out to you? Definitely drop a comment if you see anything. Otherwise, please hit like and subscribe. Share this video and visit walterfootball.com for tons of content for free. We have bunch of new content every single day, free of charge. So check that out. But otherwise, I'll talk to you in the next video.